changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration to make you simply happy. It's June 21st, and it's officially the first day of summer. So let's talk road trips. And the one I want to talk about today is a special one. It's from a very powerful book called Chicken Soup for the Soul, Find Your Inner Strength, which was actually such a powerful and moving book that I remember being almost emotionally spent by the time I finished editing it. But it's good and it's very uplifting, like this story called Dad and the Grand Canyon, which is by Barbara Bondi Pear. Barbara tells us that her father, Archie, was dying, and everyone knew it, so she could ask him outright if there was anything on his bucket list that he still wanted to do. Archie struggled for breath, and his eyes teared up as he whispered, "I've only been to the Grand Canyon 6 times. My favorite number is 7. It's my favorite spot on earth." So Barbara suggested they go on a road trip together, one last time. Her father was thrilled, but he asked if she could afford to take the time off from work. Plus, there was the small matter of his current residence, which was a room in the hospital. Barbara told her father that nothing was more important than granting him this last wish, and she went and found the doctor, who came back and said she was crazy. He asked, "Are you prepared to bring your father home in a box?" "Dad, do you mind coming home in a box?" Barbara asked her dad, and he replied, "Throw me down the canyon and I will be in heaven there." So against doctor's orders, Barbara took her father out of the hospital. As he walked to her car, the color started to come back into his cheeks. He was smiling and standing with his shoulders squared. He already seemed different than the weak, sick man they had brought to the hospital a week before with an enlarged heart. Barbara and Archie hit the road at 6 o'clock the next morning. They began by driving across the Canadian border to Michigan. Her father ordered bacon and eggs, which was way better than the hospital breakfasts. He also joked with all the other patrons in the restaurant, trying to find a new husband for his widowed daughter. When they hit the road again, Archie, who had barely been able to breathe in the hospital the day before, started belting out his favorite country songs. In Oklahoma, Archie insisted they find a Western shop so he could buy a Western suit with a red shirt to be buried in. They traveled through Texas and New Mexico, seeing all of Archie's favorite Western sights. One night, he managed to get himself stuck in the hotel bathtub, and Barbara had to try to get him out. He finally managed it himself, and that became another fond memory of the trip. The next day, Archie's dream came true. They spent the day on the south rim of his beloved Grand Canyon. It was an emotional experience for both of them. They took dozens of pictures, but then suddenly Archie slumped to the ground. His breathing was labored, his face was chalky, and he was soaked with perspiration. His pulse was weak, too, and he couldn't speak. Someone called 911, but Archie refused to get in the ambulance. They ended up staying in a hotel for 3 days until he got his strength back, and then they drove home. The drive home was a little more subdued, but after a few days, the old Archie returned. In fact, he insisted they visit his cousins on the way home. And then, as they were driving into Ohio, Archie demanded that Barbara stop the car. "Pull over," he demanded. "You heard me. If I have to spend one more day in this car with you behind the wheel, I'm going to wish that I was dead." He drove the rest of the way home to Ontario in Canada, and then he proceeded to live another 9 months. He was buried in his Western suit and his red Western shirt, having accomplished everything he set out to do almost a year earlier when he was at death's door. I'm Amy Newmark. Thank you for listening to the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast. And please remember to share it with your friends and family. Show them how to listen to podcasts too, and how to subscribe. I recently read that fewer than 20% of Americans have ever listened to a podcast, and they have no idea how easy and fun it is. Come back tomorrow for Thoughtful Thursday. We're going to talk about something I'm asked about a lot, how to get an agent and get your book published. You'll hear how two Chicken Soup for the Soul writers managed to overcome their own self-doubt and find those agents and embark on successful publishing careers.